You are continually battling through the storm. You're in the eye of the storm and you just don't know if it's going to change. I'm here to tell you it's going to change. God has never told us that life wouldn't be full of challenges and storms, but He did tell us that He would be with us every step of the way to get us through a storm. So this week, guys, on the podcast, we're talking about the storm you're in. This is part 2 from last week, carrying it over. We talked about purpose, but we also tied in a storm in there. And I want to talk personal about my storm a little bit. How do we truly understand the storm we're in and where to take it, where it's going to take us? And how do we find peace within that storm? So guys, welcome back to the show. Ryan DeMent, Chasing Happiness Podcast. Please subscribe and share. I'm building community here. Would love to have you here. So, the storm you're in, to say the least, it's debilitating. It's got you down on your knees. It has you bent over. It has you just clenching your stomach. I know that. I'm still struggling with my financial storm on my business side with this property that we have in Indiana. Go back, listen to prior episodes. I talk about it. I'm not going to go into depth with it, but I want to talk about this. Every single day, I'm trying to be as consistent as I possibly can of waking up early, taking Moose out for a walk, and then being able to come back and put my face in the good book, journal, and just spend quiet time with God. That helps start my day. It also allows me to have peace. It also allows me to be able to set my day up for success, because who knows what's going to happen. There's something else that I've added, and it's a little different. Is there's this guy that's out of Florida, and I don't remember his exact name, Mike, and then I can't remember his last name, Marquez. I don't know. I'll link his YouTube channel in the show notes. But he puts out a short every single day that just prays over our specific day. And since I've been hitting on it every single morning, of course, the algorithm sends it to me. It's being sent because he has some great things to say. And today he literally talked about, you're in a storm. And he said, God is here with you in that storm. And as the storm intensifies, you're getting closer to a huge breakthrough, to where you're going to get on the other side. There's really 3 options in life. We're not in a storm, we're going into a storm, and we're in a storm. Technically 4, you're coming out of a storm. And what he said today was this: if you're in any of those portions of your life, 1, God is going to be with you, but 2, God is protecting you. The storm is there because there's other things in your road that you were headed towards that is actually not where He wants you to go. He wants to open up a door or a window, whatever the case is, somewhere else. It's truly His will, His grace, His way. You're probably asking, how do I get there, Ryan? Good question, because I'm not there yet. I can tell you what I do in the morning, like I said earlier, putting my face in the good book and reading 2 to 3 chapters. Deuteronomy 8. It really hits home for me. It talks about when Moses is taking the Israelites in the desert, and they're in there for 40 years, and God has them there for a reason. But every single time they complain, God always helps them to understand why they're there and still provides them food, clothes on their back, keeps them healthy. But they keep on fighting God's will instead of just actually listening. And would they have spent 40 years in the desert if they actually listened to God? I don't know. Maybe not. But also at the same time too is this. I look at myself as that is, have I been fighting God all this time on what I'm supposed to do? And I honestly think on this situation with this house that I'm talking about, with everything we've gone through, when the deal fell through initially and it all blew up 2 days before the buyer was supposed to do a final inspection, I was heartbroken. I was miserable. What am I going to do for capital? And there were so many things. I was just beside myself. But it ended up being, God saved us, because that potential buyer could have been more hurt than what it was worth. So it would have been even a bigger problem if the buyer moved in and that happened. So I am so thankful for God for doing that. The other thing is, you don't know what your next step is going to be. And all along this process, I have had no clue on what my next step is going to be. I have ideas. I'm an operator. I'm a business owner, so I have to. But I don't always know what 12 steps down the road is going to be. I might know what the next 1 or 2 steps are, but God doesn't give us all 12. He wants us to depend on Him, and that is the struggle. While you're in the storm, depending on God. How do you do it? You got to spend some time with Him every single day. And I say some, it should be more than some, especially if you're not in a very good mindset where you're anxious and you're worried. Worrying doesn't add extra days or extra hours to our lives. All it does is take away from today and where you're at. Can we be better at that? Yes. I struggle with it right here. Being anxious is tough. And sometimes I really think that I'm on an island by myself. But I have to adjust my thought process and really look at, am I truly by myself? I don't think so. I continue to get blessed by God. I continue to get my needs met and then exceeded. And then I get opportunities dropped in my lap that otherwise I had. But we tend to lose faith while we're in the midst of the storm. Everything is pretty much going wrong or is against you, and you don't see a way out. But we forget to remember all the times that we were in another storm. Maybe it's not, maybe it's similar, different, whatever the case is. And God got you through. God blessed you. He made sure that you got through. Those are the times that we have to think about and remember when we're in the midst of a storm today. What I tell myself in what I ask for God when I have my quiet time with Him and I'm just talking and trying to listen more than talk, that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother conversation. It's about giving me peace. And that peace isn't about not having storms in my life. I've confused that for too many years. Peace is about having a clear mind to be able to sleep at night and to be able to excel during the day while you're in the storm. Next is purpose. Purpose is not your job. Purpose is your God-given talents. If you're not using your God-given talents, your skills, you need to go figure out what your purpose is, start doing it. Not saying it needs to become your income maker, but you need to go serve others. That's what your purpose is. Your God-given talents to go serve others. And lastly is wisdom. Bless me with wisdom today. Help me make solid decisions in all aspects of my life that you would be proud of. That you will guide me and allow me to make these decisions to where I can be more godlike. I can't always just be thinking about myself. It has to be thinking about others and the big picture. But sometimes as an operator, as a solopreneur, I'm worried about my little bubble. It can't just be my little bubble. I have to worry about a larger bubble. So being able to make that decision with wisdom and guidance. And again, like I said earlier, putting my face in the good book, reading the book, journaling, being honest with myself, calling myself out where I'm short, making sure that I'm doing right. And then the positive mindset is the last piece. Being positive in a storm is probably the most difficult thing to do. But being positive, or part of being positive, is letting go, giving it to God for that peace. And I'm still working on that, and it's a struggle every single day. But as I say that, I just envision just giving all my problems off to God into his capable hands. And then I can rest because sleep is critical. All right, guys, I'll end there. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you guys on the other side.